Today, we're talking about a retirement strategy that, honestly, feels like a cheat code. It's a way for a select few to just supercharge their tax-free savings, way beyond what most of us think is possible. So, we're going to break down exactly how it works, who actually gets to use it, and most importantly, how you can find out if you're one of them. Let's dive in.
So here's what we've got on tap. First, we're going to hit you with that $70,000 Roth secret. Then we'll pop the hood and see how this thing actually works. After that, we'll talk about the big catch, the one thing that decides if you're in or out. We'll even run the numbers to see what this looks like over 10 years. It's pretty wild. And then, to wrap it all up, a straightforward action plan for you to use right now.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the $70,000 Roth secret. Seriously, before we even get into the nuts and bolts of how this works, let's just talk about the wow factor. Because the numbers here, they're what make this so mind-blowing. We are talking way, way beyond the normal limits. Okay, so what if you could put $70,000 into your Roth accounts this year instead of, the usual $8,000? Just think about that for a second. For 2025, if you're over 50, the standard Roth IRA limit is $8,000. This isn't just a little bump. We're talking nearly 10 times that. It's an absolute game changer if you can get it.
And boom, here it is, $77,500. That's the real number for 2025. If you're 50 or older, that's the total amount you could potentially cram into your retirement accounts. And no, that's not a typo. This is the scale of what we're talking about today. It's huge.
So how is this even possible? Well, it's a strategy called the Mega Backdoor Roth. But here's the thing. It's kind of an exclusive club. It all comes down to whether your employer's 401k plan has some very specific, kind of premium features. The kind of stuff you see at big tech companies and major corporations that they use to lure in top talent.
So you're probably asking, how on earth is a number like $77,000 even possible? Well, that's what Section 2 is all about, how the strategy works. The whole thing is basically about finding and exploiting a gap in the IRS's own rules.
Okay, check this out. It's all about the space between the different limits. So for 2025, if you're 50 plus, your own 401k contributions max out at $31,000, right? Now let's say your employer is pretty generous and kicks in another $15,000, so now you're at $46,000. But here's the kicker. The overall IRS limit for that account is $77,500. See that gap? That $31,500? That is the mega backdoor space. That's our target. So how do you fill that gap? It's a 4-step process. Step 1, max out your regular 401k. That's a given. Step 2, factor in what your employer is putting in. Step 3, this is where it gets interesting. You take money you've already paid taxes on from your paycheck, and you contribute that to fill up the rest of the space, right up to the big limit. This goes into a special after-tax bucket in your 401k. And then step 4, this is the magic trick. You immediately convert that after-tax money into a Roth. And just like that, it's set to grow tax-free forever. Okay, I know what you're thinking. That sounds incredible. And it is. But, and this is a big but, it brings us to Section 3, the all-important catch. Honestly, this might be the most important part of this whole explainer because this is what separates the people who can do this from everyone else. So let's be real about who actually qualifies.
It really all boils down to a simple question. Does your 401k plan have these 2 specific features? I'm not kidding. If you're missing even one of them, this whole mega backdoor thing is unfortunately a no-go. All right, here they are. And listen, these are totally non-negotiable. First, your plan has to allow after-tax contributions. Now, this is different from your normal pre-tax or Roth 401k money. It's a totally separate bucket. Second, and this is absolutely crucial, the plan has to let you do an in-plan or in-service Roth conversion. Basically, you need to be able to move that after-tax money into a Roth account while you are still an employee. If you don't have both, that door is shut. And look, I want to be super clear about this. Most 401k plans do not offer this. I mean, let's be real. It's a complicated and expensive feature for companies to manage, which is exactly why you usually only find it at the big dogs, your Googles, your Microsofts, places trying to attract and keep really high earners. So how do you figure out if you have it? Well, you've got a couple of options. You could, try to read through your summary plan description, that giant document, and search for terms like after-tax contributions or in-service distributions, or here's the easy way. Just call your HR department. Seriously, just shoot them an email and ask.
Okay, so let's say you are one of the lucky ones. Let's say your plan qualifies. That brings us to Section 4, Real Numbers, Real Wealth. We're going to make this super tangible now and look at a 10-year outlook. And I'm telling you, the potential here is just staggering. Let's take a look at a real-world scenario. Let's say we have a 52-year-old, a high earner. They do the right thing. They max out their own 401k contributions. That's 31 grand. Their company throws in a nice $15,000 match. Okay, so we're at $46,000. But remember, that overall limit is $77,500. So that gap, that $31,500, that's exactly what they can now put in as an after-tax contribution. They're filling that bucket right to the very top.
Now, this next part is so important. You have to convert that after-tax money to Roth immediately. And here's why. If you put the money in and you let it sit there and it earns even, say, $500 in gains, guess what? You're going to owe income tax on that $500 when you do the conversion. But if you convert it right away, there are no gains to tax. And all the growth from that point forward is completely 100% tax-free.
Okay, so that's 1 year. Let's zoom out. Let's look at the power of doing this for 10 years. So in our example, they put in that $31,500 of new Roth money. Do that for a decade, and you've contributed $315,000. But here's the beautiful part. With just a pretty average 7% return, by the time they're 62, that account could be worth over $450,000. And every penny of that is tax-free. All right, so you get it now. You see the incredible potential, you understand how it works, so let's get to our final section, your action plan now. It's time to turn all this knowledge into actual wealth with a few really clear, simple next steps. Okay, first things first, let's clear something up. We're talking about the mega Backdoor Roth. This is not the same thing as the regular Backdoor Roth IRA that you might have heard about. The mega one, that happens inside your 401k with huge amounts of money. The regular one, that's with your personal IRA, and the limits are way smaller. And hey, if you qualify, you could actually do both. Just a couple of quick warnings for you. First, don't expect an employer match on these after-tax contributions. That match is almost always tied to your regular 401k contributions only. Second, just a little heads up. There's a new rule coming in 2026. High earners are going to have to make their catch-up contributions as Roth. Now, this is totally separate from the mega backdoor strategy, but it's just something good to have on your radar. Okay, so here it is, your immediate action plan. 3 simple steps. 1. Today, send an email to HR. Ask them that exact question. Does our 401k allow after-tax contributions and in-plan Roth conversions? 2. If they say yes, your next call is to your 401k provider to get those conversions set up to happen automatically. And 3, log into your payroll system and adjust your contributions to start filling up that after-tax space. Simple as that.
So it all boils down to this one thing. If you're one of the lucky people whose plan actually has this feature, the potential is it's life-changing. So the only real question left is the one right here. If your plan does qualify, how much tax-free growth are you just leaving on the table every single year that you wait to find out?